Hello there and welcome to the second part and the final part of my Getting Over Hummingbird series. I'm Sirajit Gupta and in this video I'm going to continue talking about Hummingbird, and this time I'm going to talk about the things that you can start doing to make your website Hummingbird friendly, the things that you can start doing to limit how Hummingbird will affect your business and to get good rankings long term, not just short term, not the rankings that will be deleted by the next Google update, but rankings that will stay with you for a long time. So let's get started now. So let's talk about some solutions to the problem of Hummingbird. And before you can actually implement these solutions, the most important thing you need to change, like I said in my last video, it's change your SEO attitude. Don't think that the same things you've been doing will work now after Panda and Penguin and Hummingbird. Things have changed on Google. Get rid of all the bad practices. So things like the optimizations that you do, targeting PageRank using link building techniques like profile linking or commenting on blogs with spam. These things will not work for you. In fact, it's going to work against you. Till now, if things were not in favor of you, at least they were not against you. But with this penalty that Panda and Penguin impose, they will work against you. So don't do this. And if you've been doing this, try to get rid of all the bad links that you've created pointing to your domain and your web pages, because the first thing about Panda and Penguin is they penalize not just your page, they penalize your entire website. So if you are penalized by Panda or Penguin, your entire website is going to be penalized. And on the positive side, the playing field is level now. So get on board today, be an early adopter of Hummingbird friendly ranking techniques, and you will rank massively for the keywords that you've never ranked for, and you might be able to steal keywords from your competitors and rank for them. So the traditional SEO has been turned on the head due to all these factors, and it's time for some new techniques. It's time for new methods, for new methodology. It's time to build authority websites, and it's time to earn from new keywords which have been opened. It's time to retarget your own keywords again using a different method. And now let's check out what could be some basic changes that you can do in your content today or in your SEO strategy today to make a difference. Tell me this, how many products have you used or seen that make Google the enemy, that insult Google, that make fun of Google, that tell you that by using this technique or by using this hack or freaking method, you can actually get over Google's limitations? We've all been there, but the problem is it's very simple. The more we game the system, the more the system changes to work against us. If we treat Google as our enemy, Google will treat us as its enemy. So no surprises there when Google imposes all sorts of penalties, when it works to hide information from us, because we, the SEO people who are over optimizing or who are using techniques that we shouldn't be using, we are gaming the system. We are trying to get over whatever limitations the search engine has created for us and trying to rank quickly without deserving that rank. Now the problem is when that happens, the system is broken, and the system is broken, the system has to be changed. That's why Google will change its system every time it's broken, every time it's gamed, and all the work that you've done, all the efforts that you've been making, it will all come to naught. So don't make Google your enemy if you don't want it to be your enemy. Don't game the system or it's game over for you as well when the system adapts, like we've already seen through Panda, Penguin, and now Hummingbird. So what do we do now? What do we do instead of that? What do we do instead of link building and keyword stuffing? The answer is understand what Google is looking for and feed it that. Google wants content. Google wants relevance. If you build your website or web page around relevance, around content, your rankings are going to stay in place no matter what happens. And it's not so difficult. It's in fact cheaper or as inexpensive as building a bad quality website and losing it 2 months down the line. If you build a good quality website, you keep the rankings, you keep the visitors, you are going to do much better than any person who just gets deleted out of the search engine one fine day for freaking it. The last point is to work with the changes. Don't work against the changes, work with them. Try to understand what the changes imply and adapt yourself to those changes, and you will survive every wave of change. You will survive every update of Google. So keep these things in mind when you evolve, when you create your new SEO strategy. Keep the bad practices out of them, and it will be better for you, it will be better for your future and your prospects on Google. In the next slide, we will learn some techniques that we can actually put in place right now, which are good, which will work for you, and which will give you results on HummingBird. The first thing you need to change about your search engine strategy, of course, is to use contextual and semantic keywords instead of mindless keywords that you read off a list. Now the thing is, whenever you are targeting keywords that are just listed randomly or alphabetically, the content that you create is not going to be connected in an organic, in a semantic manner. The context is always going to be disrupted. So you can't really build a website which contextually connects to each other, where all the pages are linked solidly and according to Google's schematics, and where the content actually makes meaning to Google's context sensitive engine. To do this, you have to get keywords which are contextually related and structure your articles in the same manner. You have to connect your articles together through the contextual keywords. That will make sure that when Google visits your website, when it visits your web page, it will see the data in a very organized and suitable manner. It will recognize the keywords as being contextually connected, and if you have high quality keywords over there, if you got high quality content over there, in fact, Google will rank you for that keyword, and not just for that keyword, it will help you get ranked for the entire set of keywords that are from that topic. That is one way to rank permanently on new Google. So focus on keywords that are contextually and semantically linked to each other. Build your content around these topics. And the second point is, from your content page, link to topics that are directly linked to the keyword targeted on that page. Now, this concept means that whenever you target a keyword on maybe an article or any content page that you have on your website, make sure that you lead on to other content on your website that is from that page. So find out what topics or what keywords are contextually related to the keyword that you're targeting, and also target those. The point is to build an authority site. The point is to make your site valuable in Google's eyes and to rank for the entire topic set. So make context a part of your SEO strategy and make semantically related keywords a part of your SEO strategy to target keywords better, to get ranked on keywords better. Here's a very interesting truth about search engines. If you want to have more visitors through search, try to get more visitors through the social web or the social media networks. Let's understand how this works. Now let's go back to the concept of PageRank. What is PageRank? PageRank says that if your website is linked to by many other websites, or many other websites are linking to your websites, it will suggest that your website is worthy enough for other people to want to link to it, or your web page is worthy enough for other people to want to link to it. And this naturally means that your website is high value, that the content you prepare is high value, and that's why Google will rank you better for the keywords you're targeting on that page. Now PageRank is outdated, it has been gamed, it has been cancelled due to the over optimization done by many search engine professionals. But there's a new factor in town, and that is social media sharing. So when Google knows that your web page or your website or the content that you have created is being shared over all the social web, it's being shared very extensively, it knows again that your content is of high value, that it's written well, that it appeals to the viewers, and that's why that will be a deciding factor or a very important factor in getting you ranked. So make sure you supplement Google with social traffic from Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Reddit, and many other social media networks. Don't go for a huge list. Instead of that, target the top 5 or top 4 and try to be on many pages or many groups. Get people to read your content, to comment on it, and it should all be organic readership. It should all be natural viewership. It should not be fake or inorganic viewership. One of the most important and effective things that you can do to get your content ranked rapidly is to build a community around it. If you build a community on a social media network and people come to you again and again, that is a great way of telling Google that your content is really amazing and that it should be ranked well. And know this, Google wants to rank pages that deserve to be ranked, and being shared on social media is a great way of telling Google that this page deserves to be ranked. That is why Google has a special sort of corner in their heart for those who get traffic from other sources. So the more traffic you generate from other sources, the more Google will come to you, the more Google will respect you, and the higher you'll be ranked for Google. So make sure social media is a very important part of your traffic strategy. The next important tip that I want to give you is to focus on your overall site and not just the page rank of specific pages. Now that is the new way to do SEO on Google. Earlier the focus was on getting a specific page ranked for a specific keyword, and you probably concentrated on getting that done by any means, by building links, by putting it on a number of bookmarking platforms, and you have to go by page basis. Usually the main page was the most popular one according to page rank, and then we would have all those content pages which would have lesser page rank but would be ranked according to individual page ranks. But that has changed. Panda and Penguin updates specifically penalize the entire site. So if you are putting up good content in some places and putting up bad content in some places and using bad SEO techniques to link to some pages, it's going to bring down your entire site. So the focus now is on good links, and good links to all of your content. You can't have a partial drive for a part of your website and have a separate SEO tactic for the rest of your website. That does not work, and that is going to penalize you. That's going to get you penalized very, very quickly. So that's why you need to keep your site in good health. That means the entire site. Make sure there are no broken links, no missed sitemaps, and no repeated content, because now Google has taken a very serious view of repeated content, and Panda specifically targets that. If you're putting up spurn articles, if you're putting up content that has been repeated in a number of places, that is going to hurt your website a lot. And that includes not just the content but also the titles, also the meta tags that you select, also the meta description that you have. Make sure the title is different, the meta description is different for different articles, and make sure there is a change in titles specifically, because if your titles are same, Google is gonna not rank one of these pages. Either of the pages is not going to show up in Google at all. Right, so that is what you should be doing, maintaining your site health, and you should be checking your website for any violations of Panda or Penguin guidelines, and that is going to be a very important priority for you if you want to stay on Google for a long time at high rankings, if you want to maintain your rankings on Google. Because Panda and Penguin, they target specific bad practices, and if you've been doing those, it's time to disown them. It's time to destroy those links. It's time to destroy those profiles. And if you can do that, then make sure you tell Google that these are not your links, and there are specific procedures to do that. There are forms to fill, and if you look online you will find these things. But do them. Make sure you take every step possible to get rid or to minimize the penalty of Panda and Penguin, because that will bring your website down very fast. And even if you recover from Hummingbird a little bit, Panda and Penguins updates are going to hurt your website. The second important tip that I want to give you is to ride the waves. Target the trends, even the future ones. This is something that I've done very successfully in my own campaigns, in my own websites. Targeting trends which are coming up in the future, which I know about. I maintain a calendar of everything that is predictable and is going to happen in the coming time, and I build my net content around that calendar. Typically, I've been putting up content about the incident or about the issue or about the happening 15 or 20 days before it actually happens. Now this gives me an initial advantage, because when an important event occurs, the search would naturally go up, and if you've been targeting it beforehand, you have a natural advantage in Google rankings and you will be ranked pretty high. What happens is, when the search starts to go up, your page will start appearing in the list, and you will be able to get hold of that initial popularity, ride it, and get a lot of visitors around the event time. And I would suggest that when this happens, you should be comprehensive in your keyword targeting. Gun for all the good keywords. Understand the event, understand what's going to happen, and then gun for all the keywords that people could be looking for. This way you are guaranteed a very nice amount of traffic, which will definitely taper off once the event is done. But every time you successfully ride a temporary spike in a keyword, you move to an upper circuit, which means Google marks your website as that much more valuable. Now this is something very interesting about PageRank. We think of PageRank in absolute terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, but that's not the case. PageRank is actually a very variable number, and there is definitely a decimal or a fractional part to it. So typically the PageRank would, for a person or for a website, would be calculated as 1.26 or maybe 1.263 or whatever, and Google just gives us the integer. The rest of it is not available. But trust me, websites are definitely ranked more closely than just on the basis of that integer, and that's why you should try to target the traffic that comes to you occasionally during the events or around the events time, and that will give your PageRank a boost, and you will feel it with the rest of your keywords. Now this is something quite organic and natural, but the benefits are substantial and they stay with you for a long time. So do it, and this is going to help you, and this is something that no Hummingbird, no Penguin, no Panda can take away from you. Now this is a very interesting point. As Google moves away from PageRank as its most defining measure of a page's importance and its place in the rankings, it's trying to develop new techniques, new ways to understand how popular a page is and what should be its place in the rankings. And it's doing things like, of course, measuring the social sharing data, trying to understand how well a page is shared on the social network, how many people are sharing it, how popular it is. And of course, it's created the knowledge graph, which measures a page's relevancy through contextual and semantic keyword analysis, content analysis in fact. And it's also trying to get into the core and monitor or understand how people are actually behaving on the page itself. What is the measure of the pages, of the ultimate popularity, that is, how well the people respond to the page, and that data is available to it if it can see how long people are staying on the page. Now, if you're using tools like Google Analytics embedded on the page and you agree to share your data with Google, Google gets a lot of this information, which helps it rank better, which helps it understand how popular the individual pages are on your website, how long the viewers are staying on it, what keywords they are looking for, what kind of behavior they have, their navigation, where they are going next from the page they have found. So all of these factors help Google build a very good analysis of the content on your website, and it helps Google rank your pages better. That's why if you want to really rank on Google now, you have to get people to stay on your page longer. Now this is even more important if you are a YouTube video producer, because if you're trying to rank videos, you have to make sure the retention rates are high, that people are staying up to the end of the video as much as possible, because the more retention rates you have, the higher retention rates you have, the higher your rankings will be. In fact, it's quite proportional. Apart from all the other factors, the retention rate is very important factor. And that is true for the websites too now, because Google has access to a lot of data that it didn't have access to earlier, and it is analyzing this data, it is crunching those numbers. Google wants to know how long people stayed on your pages and where they went. And since we are feeding Google this data, let's not expect it to not use it. That's why optimize your pages very well. Make sure that whoever visits the pages is impressed by the layout, is impressed by the content on the page, and they try to see more of your content. Try to reduce your bounce rates. Try to understand why your visitors are bouncing from your pages. Find the reasons, do the analysis, and reduce the bounce rates to get better rankings on Google.